Good morning, good afternoon. Welcome to the MLM Lunchtime Leadership Show. Today we're actually going over law number 11. That is the law of the inner circle. If you've been following along with us Monday through Friday, we have been rocking through this series. The 21 Laws of Leadership. If you are not familiar with this book, it is one of John Maxwell's number one best-selling books, and what Bess and I are doing is covering one law a day. So with that, I am going to turn this over to Bess, and we're going to get this rolling. Hi, Chris. How are you?
Hi, welcome everyone. Law number 11 today, the law of the inner circle. So that should be very interesting. I am Bess McCarty, founder and coach with the MLM Millionaire School for Network Marketers. And this is Jeffrey David Gamble with my Leadership Network, a certified John Maxwell trainer. Okay, I think I'm back. Can you hear me okay, Jeff? Can you hear me okay?
You paused on us for a second. Go ahead.
I'm just doing that disconnecting thing again. But can you hear me okay? I'm going to go out and come back in.
Okay, guys, what we're going to do, Bess is going to jump off here real quick and then jump back on due to some Wi-Fi issues. Hi, Deborah. How are you? Hi, Denise. How are you? Joyce, how are you? Good morning. Happy Monday to everybody. Can you believe it's Monday? Bess had some technical difficulties, so we're just waiting for her to jump back in here real quick. See if we can get this rocking. Click. Approve. 1, 2, 3. Hi, Lori. How are you? Welcome.
I wonder if I'm on. It's half showing. I do love technology.
You are.
Can you hear me?
Yep. You're on, you're on.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, you are on.
Do I look right?
You are live.
I think it's still trying to connect. I wonder if you can hear me.
Yep. If you can hear Bess, say yes. And Bess, we're going to go ahead and get rolling. Every single day we bring a topic to the floor. That topic is actually one of the laws of leadership. Today we're actually on law number 11. Law number 11 specifically goes over the law of inner circle. So for those of you who are ready, say ready. I can't hear you, by the way. Loud and clear. Joyce said she is on. Appreciate that. Okay, she'll tell him. Cool. So what we're going to do is we're going to cover this lesson. So you can grab a pen and a piece of paper. By the way, all these lessons of the 21 Laws of Leadership are lessons that can be learned. John sometimes asks, are these lessons that can be learned, or is somebody just born a leader? No, they can all be learned. Every single law actually builds upon itself. So you want these laws to build upon themselves thing by thing. They stand alone. And nothing but the best is what he delivered. It took him 20 years to write this information out and to be able to compile it. So with all of that being said, let's get right into this. The unfortunate part is every single law, if you don't know it, comes with consequences. And if you don't figure these things out, these laws will come with consequences, and that is an issue. So what we're going to do, Bess, is we're going to jump right into this. And have you follow up here in a second. Hi, Dawn. How are you? So the law of inner circle. The leader finds greatness in a group and helps the members find it in themselves. So this is the law of the inner circle. A leader's potential is determined by those people who are closest to him or her. So leadership is not sexist. It's male or female. Leadership has to do with what you're doing, not necessarily the title. Or we went over some myths in one of the laws of leadership. It's not necessarily one of those myths. It's not about getting there first. It's not about being an entrepreneur. It's not about a title. It's about you doing the right thing. So learning the law of the inner circle, it says no one ever does anything great alone. And you'll find this is true, you know, no matter who the leader is of what organization. Hi, Dawn. No matter who the leader is of what organization they're part of, they never act by themselves. They always have someone in the background. A lot of times it's somebody you can't see. John has so many examples of this. He talks about, you know, the secretary that helps him out with everything. He talks about Charlie Winslow, who is his writer. For those of you who don't know, John has written more books on a single subject than any person in history, but John has rarely written any of the books. What he does is he compiles the notes, he compiles the note cards, he compiles the stories, he compiles the jokes, and then what happens is Charlie actually is the writer. So what he did is he found people who were better than him at a specific subject that just made sense. One funny thing is John was actually never going to write books. Hey Moose, how are you? So he was never actually going to write any books. The reason being is he's like, I was a bad writer. And he's like, I knew I was not a good writer. He goes, I was really good at talking, but I was not good at writing. And it ended up that he actually had a conversation with somebody and the guy's like, well, you should write books. And he's like, why is that? He goes, because then people can learn these lessons when you're not there. And John understood impact. So what John did is he sat down and he's like, I wrote my first book. He's like, how many people have my first book? And it was really funny that, you know, in a room, there were only a handful of people who had the book. He's like, well, thank God, you know, only a few people have that book because that book isn't a really good book. He's like, your first book's going to be terrible. The reason being is you haven't really put together all of the lessons and all the things you need to know to be a great writer. He goes, but fortunately, I found a great writer. And that great writer helped me write everything else. So, you know, good point, you know, get started doing something and then somebody can come along and help you out with these different issues that you may have. But, you know, he was great in one area and then he surrounded himself with great people in all the other areas. Hi, I'd appreciate it if you're typing the link. Get to know all of the Lunchtime Leadership shows. Okay, yeah, absolutely. All the Lunchtime Leadership shows are actually online at our Facebook page, the Lunchtime Leadership Show. Lori's watching, Nancy's watching. So you can get all of those lessons there. You can also go to our YouTube page, the MLM Lunchtime Leadership Show, and look them up there. And then they're all listed, you know, back to back to back. So no one ever does anything great alone. Know that, you know, there's always going to be somebody in the background, especially if you're building a direct sales company. There's no one leader. I heard a great story just recently. And I was discussing, you know, just leadership in general, really, with a good friend of mine who is part of an organization and part of a team that's now 20 years old. And we were talking about what people get offered, how much money some leaders get offered to be able to switch teams. And this particular person was offered $2.5 million, $2.4 million, like it matters. The extra 100,000, like it's going to make a difference, to transfer to another organization. And he's on the phone and he listens and he's like, do you know who I am? And the guy's like, yeah, your name is, and I'm going to disguise his name because this is non-company specific. He's like, do you know who this is? And the guy's like, yeah, it's so-and-so and so-and-so. He's like, no, do you know who this is? And the guy's like, yeah, this is so-and-so that leads this big team and I'm calling. He goes, well, do you know me? He's like, yeah, I know exactly who you are. He's like, no, you don't understand. He's like, I understand you really don't know me, because if you really knew who I was, you would have called all of my leaders first and asked them. He's like, you think it's a representation of me, that I'm the leader because I'm at the top. He's like, I'm not the leader. He goes, I might have started the group, but I don't lead the group. It's actually this group that leads the group. So you would have contacted them first. Is this deal not only good for me, is it good for all of them? And the guy's like, no, I guess not. Who is this? I hear music and your lips are moving, but okay, it's not. So You don't do anything great alone. It was just a way to prove to them. I thought that was amazing. Cool. So be strategic in creating your inner circle. Be strategic in creating the people who are around you. Strategic meaning you have to have a standard. You want to have what we call an avatar of who you're looking for, an avatar of who you want to bring onto your team, but you also want to have an avatar of who you want around you. The people you want around you is very important. Create your inner circle with the following guidelines. Do they have high influence with others? Do they have high influence with others? Meaning, do other people come to them for advice? If they said, hey, I need you to be here, can they gather a group? Can they gather a team? Do they bring complementary gifts to the table? Not only do they have, some of the same things, same interests, but do they have, complementary gifts, things that are going to support the overall group of people sitting at the table? Do they hold strategic position in your organization? I think that's a good way to say, are they performing? Because there's 5 levels of leadership, right? There's level 1, which is position. They just have a position in the company. Level 2, which is permission. Some people have given them permission. Level 3 is production. Do they have the ability to produce? And, it's very difficult. You really don't want to bring a bunch of people around you that are non-producers, because all you're doing is supporting the non-producers and showing people that, hey, we put together a group of non-producers. Do you want to come to this group too, just to talk about stuff and not do anything? There's a lot of groups like that. There's support groups like that, where people aren't physically doing anything. But I would say that's not what you want to do, especially inside of direct sales. There should be a minimum standard to be in that group. Do they hold strategic? Okay, 4. Do they add value to the organization? Are they out for themselves? Or are they out for the group? Is this something they're building as a group of people? That's kind of a really good stop. I'm not sure. Some of the people, if you are actually watching this live, could you just write that you can see this clearly? We're just making sure that everything is rolling right. Some people's Wi-Fi. If you've done an update recently on your iPhone, and I only know this for iPhone because I don't have Android and I don't have an LG or any other platform. But if you have an iPhone, one of the things I know is if you update your iPhone, it turns every single thing back on your phone. iPhone likes to do that. It's like, hey, we're just testing to see if every single thing on your phone's working. So we're going to turn on all the crap that you actually turned off. So it turned on my Wi-Fi, it turned on my Bluetooth, it turned on every single notification that I've ever had in my life. And I had to go back through and reset my phone to every single setting. So you kind of have to do that. If you don't update your phone and you're lazy like I am, and you forget to update it, that can be another problem because you don't have the most recent update. You won't have the most recent Facebook update. And if you don't have the most recent Facebook update, a lot of these type of services don't work. So it's a pain in the butt. It is absolutely clear. It's very clear up in Canada. So that's all that matters. If it's clear outside the country, I'm good. Becky, I'm just messing with you. Thank you so much. Don, how are you? So back to this. 4, do they add value to the organization? And the 5th thing, to create your inner circle, these are the guidelines. The 5th thing is, do they have positive impact on other inner circle members? Do they have positive impact on other inner circle members? Meaning, does everybody kind of gel together? Does everybody complement each other? Do you have multiple strengths, multiple skills that come to the table? And that's who you really want to surround yourself with. You want to build this inner circle strong. And here's the thing. If you don't necessarily have an inner circle initially, you don't have enough people on your team initially, what I would suggest is your company probably has a great group of people leading at some level, and you want to surround yourself with those people. And here's what I can say. Rather than seeing what you can bring to the table, I would say go and say nothing and listen. Go and say nothing and listen. Just find the group. Part of the problem is most people never find a group like that. Once you find the group, go there, take notes. Say, hey, do you guys ever get together in mastermind? Is there ever a group of people, a leadership group that gets together? And here's what you'll normally find is, yes, we do, but you have to be at this level to be involved. Again, they're protecting their inner circle. So they're using a lot of these lessons. And you're like, wow, I have to get to that level just to be involved? Yes, so that way you'll understand the conversation. We used to say this a lot. It's hard to bring somebody in to an inner circle to give us advice on what to do at high levels when you've never hit that high level. You don't have the proper perspective to be able to give advice on those particular subjects. So this is kind of how you want to do it, is you want to build your inner circle. First, build an inner circle off of people who want to put together the production. Then you build an inner circle out of people who have done the production, and you're teaching them to build their inner circle. It's kind of a really good thing to do, especially if you want to build a very large team. So living the law of inner circle, always recruit with these traits in mind. Number one, competence. Competence. They know what's going on. I asked this to my group recently, a group of people that I was talking to. I said, who has the competence? Who understands the game enough that we could teach it to them? And if they don't understand every aspect, they have at least the mental capacity to understand what's going on and understand the philosophy that we're talking about. Who on your team is like that? I had everybody write them down. So competence is one of the first things that you want to look at. Can they understand? Because they could be the great, and John talks about this. He's like, if they have competence but they don't have character, he's like, they know what to do, but you don't trust them to do it. If they have character over competence, they're great people. He's like, you want to take them on the train with you, but these are the people who jump off at 90 miles an hour. They're like, no, we have to get there first. He's like, you don't want to bring those type of people. So the second thing is character. You want people who have character. You want people who are going to do what they're supposed to do at the right time, regardless of who's watching. I can't remember if John, that was part of John's lesson or somebody else's, but they said character is really true when you watch what people do, but when you watch what people do when nobody's watching. Number three, they have the right chemistry. You don't want to bring on, the complete one-man show, but you also don't want to bring on the person that needs 55 supporting yeses to make a decision. And if you don't know anybody like that, call me and I'll introduce you to a couple. You might have some people that you work with that are like that. And not that they're bad people, but we're talking about building an inner circle of people who can make decisions. Never stop improving your inner circle. So as John said, there are seasons. That's why board members of boards have yearly, have a year contract to be involved in the board, and then you requalify. Some people are really good for a season. They have stuff going on. Some people are really not so good after that season. Why? Because they have stuff come up, or they have no interest, or they change. So the inner circle is kind of one of those things that's constantly growing and constantly changing and constantly morphing. Also for the level you're at and where you want to go. Where you want to take everybody. Everybody around you needs to be on the journey of growth. So that's one thing he hammers is if you build an inner circle, you need to build an inner circle out of people who are willing to grow, people who are willing to change, people who are willing to take the next step, and people who are, one of my mentors in direct sales said, he said, you want to surround yourself with dreamers who are not satisfied. Watch this. Who are not satisfied with okay, who are not satisfied with average, who are not satisfied with just status quo. You want to surround yourself with people who are achievers. You want to surround yourself with people who are consistently growing. I heard a great quote the other day. It says, okay, see clearly, I have to jet driving. Yes, yeah, be careful if you're driving and taking notes and watching this. Watch the road instead. We'd rather have you around on another call. If you have an inner circle, so, one of the people that I was listening to recently mentioned that, building your inner circle, doing what you're doing, you want to be a dreamer, you want to build to a certain point. He's like, you want to build to a certain point where you're able to give $1 million. And he's like, if you think you make enough money and you're not able to give $1 million a year away, then you're not making enough money. I thought that was a really good way to point out, some of us aren't doing as much as we could be doing. And he went on to hammer that fact with some very explosive language that has a lot of adjectives to it. Grant Cardone, if you know that gentleman, great mentor. So if you have an inner circle member who is not improving for the sake of you, your inner circle, and your entire team, it's time to make a change. It's time to make a change. That person is not going to work out. You need to sit down. I mean, always have the conversation with them first. But John's point of view is if you can see it's not going to happen, you need to get that person out of there. They're going to influence the group in a negative way. So be prepared to be an inner circle member for someone else. So if you build an inner circle, be an inner circle. And that's kind of what I was saying is first get there. Get to the inner circle. Find a group of people in your company And then build your inner circle. Your inner circle initially can be people who just want to do the activity. Just people who want to do the activity. Guys, I want a group of people that want to get to the next level. Pick a level in your company. Pick a group. Hi, Angelina. Pick a group of people in your company that you're working with that want to do the activity to get to a certain level. And then once you get to that level, then what you're going to do is up the level and have that group of people come up. And you're only going to invite people in to that specific inner circle. And it's called inclusion exclusion. It's making an exclusive group inside of an exclusive group. And you just build up from there. Then you'll teach them to build their inner circle with the people who want to get to that level. And that's how you'll get to the next level. So that never actually ends inside of the group. There's one more thing I would add to it, and we're going to talk about that. That's one of the things we're going to discuss actually when we get to presentations for the 10 core for the Quick Start Basic class that Bess and I run every Sunday, is something called accountability. And nobody likes to hear, oh my gosh, we're going to talk about accountability. I'll skip that call. It's one of the best calls because it's one of the things that will change everything about where you're sitting currently. So leading others to the law. Prepare a lesson outline on being prepared to be an inner circle member for a great leader. So you want to get prepared to actually be in the inner circle so that once you're asked, you're ready. What would be some things you'd want to prepare? You want to know what your strengths are. You want to know what your weaknesses are. You want to know what your personality is. You want to know what out of the 21 qualities of a leader, what are you great at? Because if you're going to come into an inner circle and you don't know what you're great at, how are you going to contribute to the group? You're like, well, I don't know what I'm great at, but I'll figure it out if I get in the group. No, you need to figure it out ahead of time. Next, outline why this is good for you and how you will follow the 5 guidelines that we talked about, in the previous, high influence, complementary gifts, strategic position, add value, positive impact. Hey, here's the reason why I'd be good for this group. Here's what my strengths are. Here's what my qualities are. Here's what I believe in. Here's what I value. Tom, what's happening? Welcome. Grade yourself on the clarity and content of your lesson. Do you have the ability to comprehend what's going on? Do you have the ability to commit to what's going on? Do you have the character to stay involved? In an inner circle, people are going to share things that, that maybe aren't good for the rest of the group, maybe aren't good for the rest of what's going on. And you have to be smart enough to have trust and character in those people that they're going to share and keep that stuff with themselves rather than handing it out to the organization. Listen for the following questions to know that you need to improve your inner circle, share your inner circle. I've got a good team, but there isn't any true sense of ownership. Well, you can't own something you're not really part of. So that's why you want to build an inner circle. Why is it that I'm the only one coming up with the new ideas? Well, there's 2 things behind that. Either you have a group of followers, you don't have a group of leaders, or you're such a strong leader, people are scared to bring it to you because you have dominated so much that nobody will actually bring you the idea. So that's a good one to listen for. Also, I feel like all of the weight of things is on me. I've heard that, oh my gosh, I have to do everything for my team. Well, there's a reason why, is there's no inner circle to build upon. You've got to find the people who are willing to participate and build them up and have them fill in some of the gaps where you may not be good, or watch this, where it not only isn't a strength, but time-wise, it doesn't make sense. Somebody is better gifted at it and has the time to do it. So teach the law of inner circle in this lesson and the following. Make a list of your inner circle or the circles within your inner circle. So eventually you'll get to a point where you have multiples of these, but initially, we used to call it a focus group. Inside of direct sales, we used to say focus 30. Who is the focus 30? And there'll be 5 people on the list that you'll basically invite because you know that these people are the inner circle. They are the influencers. You'll have another 5 people that are coming along. You can see it happening. You have another 5 people that you want to, mentor. You have another 5 people that, you're maybe questioning, and you'll have 5 people that are always hanging out saying, hey, can I be part of something? You'll bring all these people on and you'll just see through accountability, through certain activities, who shows up consistently to what you're doing, who follows through, who is producing. And that's why you have an accountability group, is your accountability group and your inner circle are very, very similar. The only difference is anybody can, join the accountability group, but only a few people get to the inner circle. So with that, what I'm going to do is technology permitting, I'm going to turn this over to Bess for a minute and see if she can share her insights on the law of the inner circle. Bess, can you hear me, and can you take it away?
Okay, did you say take it away, Jeff?
Yep.
Sorry about the interruptions, internet. I've been working on that, troubleshooting it. I'd like to welcome and say hi to Chris and Denise, Joyce, Deb, Max, Don Fela, grandfather of network marketing. He pops into these a lot. Thank you, Don. Thank you also for the likes and loves, everybody. And if you're still with us, we'd love to just feel you out there. If you drop in your favorite emoji in the comments, we'd like to just know that you're still with us here. And if you're watching the replay, we'd love if you type in replay so that we can thank you. And if you've been getting value, hopefully this is enough value to share with someone that you know. So thank you. I have to say, Jeff, that the sound for me was coming in and out, but I did get some golden nuggets about your inner circle. And I know that if we create an inner circle of people on our team, or even with you and me with our students, that can be something that becomes valued and coveted and able to inspire people to work for that. It can give them a goal, something to work for, and then when they get into the inner circle, they can learn even deeper the secrets that they've earned the right to now work with, and that they're ready to work with. I do have a couple of questions for us that I promised to be answered. Two people left these on our Facebook group, the MLM Lunchtime Leadership Show. So they're back. I'll go ahead. Okay, so the questions are, the first one was from Ignacio Perez, and he said, when people don't answer you on Messenger, how long before you reach out to them again? That's a great question, as we're developing relationships on there. So a lot.
Bess, you frozen. Hello.
Or many times we will make connections with people on some forum or some discussion or some post, and we want to move that to a private discussion on Messenger, or he's just messaging people and they don't respond. I would wait about a week and then respond back again, not ask them the same question, of course, to say, hey, how come you've been ignoring me? Because people have done that to me and I don't like that. I get busy. People get busy sometimes. Who checks their Messenger all the time? I do, but not everybody does, So, or you just get busy. So let's not ever question people like, why didn't you respond to me? But you can get back on there and you can add value in another way. So if you've asked them, hey, can I help you with this or that, or would you like to hear what I'm doing, or like to hear what you're doing? If they don't respond to that, you can add value in another way. Like, did you hear this? Or did you know this? Or our company has come out with a new thing. I wanted to let you know about it. You can leave a variety of messages and connections. Like you can make a little voice message on Messenger. Or you can make a short little video, which I love to do. Just saying, hello, how are you? Wonder how it's going for you. So you can leave a variety of touching in. In marketing, we call that dripping value people. Whether they're friends or you're just being back in touch. Jeff, how would you answer Ignacio?
I would say it's 100% depends on how you know that person. If you know that person, pick up the phone, be like, what the heck's wrong with you? No. I mean, if it's somebody you know, you obviously answer them different. If it's somebody you don't know, I was always taught 5 likes, 3 comments, 1 share. 5 likes, 3 comments, 1 share. Meaning, if you went on their Facebook page, if it's somebody you're trying to get to know, somebody trying to get in touch with, find 5 things on their page that you like to begin with. Like the things that make sense. Find 3 things that you can comment on that are on their Facebook page. This gets their, their attention typically. 1, share, hey, this was so good, I want to share it somewhere, and then message them. What a lot of people do is they forget to connect with people before they start having a conversation. Hey, I looked through your page. There were a bunch of things that we have in common that I like. I didn't realize that you like cats, or you liked, muscle cars, or you like bodybuilding, or you like reading, or you like nature. I was looking this over. We have so many things in common. A lady recently that I was talking with, she's like, well, why did you reach out to me? And I'm like, because you had 3 cat videos. And I was like, that probably is going to go in your favor a lot. And she was like, oh, great. So it's just having things in common, being able to understand you need to connect with somebody before you reach out. Certain people, they're trying to reach out. And I'm not saying this is Ignacio. I don't know in this particular situation. Doug, how are you? But what I've seen is people will reach out to 100 people, but they make no connection ahead of time, and they wonder why people are getting ignored. Guys, there's so much spam. There's so many hackers nowadays. So especially if you're trying to share information about something before, they listen, you want to connect with them. That would be my, that would be my 2 cents on that.
Thank you very much. I was kind of assuming that had already been done, but I'll tell you what, kind of creeps me out is when people will message me and say, hi, and there's no reason to discuss, or there's no indication of anything else. Or they say, I love your profile. I think we should connect and maybe we can benefit each other. They don't even have my name in there. I think that's a generic message that they just say, oh, I love your profile. So that's just creepy, and so disconnected. So like Jeff was saying, people, they love it when you read about them because they took all that trouble to write stuff in their profile or on their timeline. And when you take the trouble to read their post or share it or like it or anything and comment on it, I think that's a form of flattery. And I like a little kid, when I had my little son, he'd always say, hey, he'd run out in the playground, but I'd be sitting reading or something like that. He'd want to be on the playground, but it was important to him. Hey, Mom, look at me. Watch me go down the slide. Mom, look at me. And I learned from that and doing the inner child work that people like being noticed and what they wrote. And so if you say, hey, I read in your about page that you like this, or you're into this, or this is your favorite quote, I love that quote. And they think, wow, somebody read what I wrote. There's something satisfied in us when we do that. So use their name if you're going to message them in a messenger. And so assuming that's been done, another tip is assume the positive. And don't say, well, they're not answering me because they're rejecting me, or they don't like what I wrote. It might be just that they're busy, and if you are bringing genuine value or care or hello or just checking in, go ahead and do that every so often. That kind of feels right, every few days or few weeks, depending on the relationship that you have with them. And Nancy says, I'm also bugged to just say hi too. Yeah, just say hi.
Or they send a link. There's a link and there's nothing else.
Yeah, or a link. Yeah.
Just a link. Yeah. Not even hi, how are you? Take a look at my link. Just a link.
Just a link.
Oh, okay, yeah, I'm going to get right on that.
It's funny how I'm just sitting around with so much spare time that I have time to read those links. How did they know that I was bored and I needed a link to read? So yeah, that's what we would call spamming with no relationship built up. Hope that helps, Ignacio. I bet that you're working on, you're going to be seeing the replay, so I promised you we'd answer that for you. And the second question that showed up on that in the MLM MLM Lunchtime Leadership Show page was from Candace Sherwood, my friend, who I met at the GoPro Recruiting Mastery. And she's a wonderful leader. And her question's a very good one. How do I get leaders to take action? She says, I attend events, I teach classes, and I reach out to new people. And I've heard that if I do it, then your team will follow too. But actually, I have very few builders, and many drop out after a few months or a year. And first of all, I want to say good for you. You're doing a good job. I know that you are a real quality and active and proactive person. So good for you for doing that and being a good role model of a leader. And second, if you only have a few people on your team that are active, this is normal. I was reading a post in a forum the other day, and the person said, how do I get my team to take action? You know, I've recruited 114 people and only 14 are active. And everybody wrote back and said, dude, that's good. Congratulations for having 14 active people out of that, because about 10% is good. And these are just the stats that, you know, and out of that 10%, maybe three or 1% will be actual, you know, big leaders and builders. So their answer was, if you want more leaders, you know, get more people on your team. And isn't it interesting that we've covered the inner circle today? So I wonder, Candace, if you form that, you know, take the ones that are active and say, okay, you guys, we're going to get together. We're going to work together. I'm going to spend my time with you guys. And if anybody else wants to join into this, you have to earn it. You have to have certain results and show me that you know, you're going to use what I have to share with you and teach with you and coach with you. So it's kind of this coveted, you know, special inner circle that then the others can watch, and you can post their results and, you know, sort of report how they're doing, how the people in the inner circle are doing. And would you like to be in this inner circle? You know, so you need to bring in this many customers or recruits to be in this inner circle too. I wonder if that would help. And Jeff?
All right. James, how are you, sir? Got a couple different people joining us on here. So with that, guys, you know, the inner circle, you know, first of all, it's based on activity. You want to build an inner circle. If you're in direct sales, obviously this is the MLM Lunchtime Leadership Show. So specifically for people in direct sales, for people in multi-level, for people in network marketing. So you want to be able to build that inner circle of people off of activity. You want to start an accountability group. If you don't know how to do that, contact me, contact Bess, and we'll sit down and show you how to do that. It starts with a focus 30, the 30 people on your team that you want to help develop, you want to focus on. There's a way to invite them. There's a way to exclude everybody else, and not exclude them negatively, exclude them based on, you know, showing up, based on production. It's they are excluding themselves, not you're excluding them. Let me make that perfectly clear. You get your focus 30. You might have a focus 5 or a focus 2, but it's like, these are the things that we want to focus on. This is what we want to be accountable to this group. And then you get started. You start a call once a week that goes over, this is what we're doing. This is what we're focused on. And guys, it's pretty simple. You know, this is what we're reading. We're doing our personal development, right? Activity. This is how many people we're contacting. This is how many people we're presenting to. This is how many people we're, you know, promoting the call to or getting to the event. People have different, what we call KPIs, key performance indicators, different things that we're going to focus on to have our group succeed. And we create that, and then we actually track it. The accountability is we set goals weekly based on activities. You can't set goals based on results that have already happened. You know, you can only set goals on future things of what you're going to actually produce, production-based goals. So it's about growth. It's about growing your skill set. It's about growing yourself, and then growing the group, finding more people, like-minded people like this. If you don't have enough people, you know, if it's just you and one other person that signed up that went MIA as soon as you signed them up, and you know you haven't heard from them since, then you just need to start with the activity, maybe join another group, another accountability group, to get rolling and get started. But it's so fun to gather a group of people, so fun to build an inner circle of people who are all on the same page, who are all working towards the same goal. But sometimes you have to lay that out. If you don't know how to lay that out, give us a call. We'll get you the sheet. We'll go through the steps, show you what to do. And then it's really up to you to do it, to pull things together. If you can't pull things together and you don't have enough pull yet, focus very hard on these lessons in the 21 Laws of Leadership. Focus hard on what we're doing each day and learn these lessons, and you will eventually know how to pull it together as you grow. You know, there may be a couple other books you need to read, like Everybody Communicates, Few Connect, or Winning with People, to be able to, you know, figure out how to connect with more people, how to have more influence, becoming an influential person, or becoming a person of influence. It's another great book by John Maxwell, showing you how to get this influence to be able to pull this together. But that's kind of my take on the inner circle about what needs to happen. Hi, Dennis. What's happening? And what I want to do is turn this back over to Bess. And Bess, we're a couple minutes past 12:30. We're trying to keep it to 30 minutes. So we're going to wrap it up here in the next minute or so. And what do they need to do for tomorrow?
Leave us a message on the Facebook group, MLM Lunchtime Leadership Show, if you have a question that you'd like answered on that. Also, if you're not already a member there, please request to be a member if you want to get the replays and the free book and the community support that we have there. Anyone have a takeaway today? Something that you got from this show, please, we'd love to hear that. If you'd like a text reminder from me for this show, then private message me that information. Next one tomorrow is law number 12, the law of empowerment. So that will be exciting. Yes. Anything else, Jeff, to close?
I think that's it, guys. You know where to find us. We have a page, the MLM Lunchtime Leadership Show. It is generic. It is non-company specific. You have the ability to go there, request to actually become part of the page, discuss leadership. We just ask that you don't put any links, no company specifics, nothing about comp plans or product line. This is about leadership, about growing your business. If you have a question specifically, share it with the group so that way the group can mastermind and learn from that. As always, like, share, or comment on this post. If somebody needs to hear it, somebody needs to see it. All the replays are actually on that page, or you can go to our YouTube channel, MLM Lunchtime Leadership Show. We just appreciate everybody for jumping on. And Bess, any closing thoughts? Going once?
You can do this. Learn to lead. It's important.
I'll have to catch the replay. Okay, no problem, Candace. Appreciate jumping on. Appreciate everybody jumping on. And we will talk to everybody real soon. Thank you. Have a great day.